We are we're here at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Riviera Beach at 7305 North Military Trail. My name is Carlton Cartwright. I'm the Executive Director for the Children's Coalition Incorporated, and we're here today with Dr.
Debra Marcelle Coney.
Okay. And today's date is, what is today's date? January
15th,
2013. And it is just the doctor and I attending the interview. Let's see now. Dr. Coney, when is your birthday?
8/20/57.
Okay, and what is your current address?
5832 Corson, Corson Place, Lake Worth, Florida, 33463.
And what war and or branch of service did you serve in?
I served in the U.S. Army.
Okay, and where did you serve?
I served in Kaiserslautern, Germany, known as K-Town.
Right? I was in Wiesbaden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you say you were in the Army.
I was
Were you drafted or enlisted?
enlisted.
Okay. Where were you living at the time?
What do you mean?
At the time, what year did you go into service?
And-
1976?
Yeah.
Okay. And where were you living at that time?
I was living here in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay, were you born in Florida?
I'm a native Floridian.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Born and raised here locally.
Right. Okay. Cool. Did you, so you were here, what were you doing? Did you just get out of high school or college or?
What happened for me was my parents were making too much money to get grants and not enough money to send me to school comfortably. I went to Bethune-Cookman for a year. And so
In Daytona?
in Daytona, Florida.
Right.
So I decided to join the military. I had my high school sweetheart who went into the military as well. And I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to travel and to experience a different culture and the food, the clothes, the people, and to go to school. Because that was my purpose, to be able to go to school.
Okay. Okay, so how old were you at the time?
I was 18.
So you hadn't gone into college yet?
I did. I had 1 year at Bethune-Cookman.
Oh, okay, that's right. I apologize. Please forgive me. Okay, what were you going to major in?
Sociology
Uh-huh.
was what I was going to major in.
Has social service has always been your
Yes.
forte?
As a matter of fact, I worked at the local urban league as a summer program for young people that were preparing to exit from high school and considering going on to college.
Right.
Yeah. And I got an opportunity to work with a number of underprivileged people in terms of job creation and job readiness. That was one of the things. As a matter of fact, during that time I worked on the jobs bank. Yeah, they formulated one right here. And actually I was in Broward County then.
Oh, you were living down south?
Yes. I was here until the early 70s, 72, and then I moved down to Broward with my family.
Okay. So, due to economic reasons, you enlisted in the military, more or less?
I wanted to go to school.
Gotcha. So did you start going to school right away as soon as you got out of basic?
No.
Did you go ROTC or?
No. I started taking up a few classes at the University of Maryland when I was in Germany.
Okay. Oh, I got you. I did that with Big Ben University, Big Ben Community College when I was in Germany. Okay. Okay, we covered all of that. Why did you pick that service branch?
The Army?
Yeah.
I knew a few people that went into the Army. They seemed to be doing well. And one of the things I got guaranteed was to go to Germany, since I knew somebody there.
Right.
And I thought it would be interesting. However, later on, because I was the first one in amongst my siblings to go into the military.
Right.
Later on, my brother, my middle brother, went to the Marines, and after him, my younger brother went to the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
So we all went to different branches of the service. Yeah. And afterwards, I found out that the Air Force would have probably been a better choice. But nevertheless, I enjoyed my experience, and for the most part, I have had a number of things occur, but nevertheless, for the most part, I did enjoy my experience.
Do you remember your first days in service? So where was basic training?
Fort McClellan, Alabama.
Okay, and how long was it?
I think it was 8 weeks or
8
something
weeks?
like that.
What was your MOS?
31 Juliet.
What is that?
Teletypewriter repair person.
Where did you after the physical? Well, let's back up for a minute. So how was basic training?
Basic training was quite interesting. I remember the first day on the bus. We pulled up on the base, and this little person, drill sergeant, got on a bus to start yelling and screaming. I couldn't believe the volume that came out of this little person's body. But she started yelling and screaming and said that we had, I think it was 5 minutes to get all of our stuff and everything off the bus and get our formation.
Right.
And of course, people were frantic, throwing stuff out the window of the bus and trying to get off the bus and jumping out of the back. And we did it. And while standing in formation, I was just tickled pink. I was tickled pink. I thought it was hilarious.
Did you really?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. And as a result of that, I think that was the beginning of the challenge of discipline.
Right. I was
for
getting
me.
ready,
Yes.
get ready to ask you. You didn't mind the discipline?
No, she came up in my face and was yelling and screaming about what I was smiling for, and of course I just bust out laughing all over the place, about to fall down. About to fall down, but
Guts, huh?
yeah. And she told me, she said, you're one of those people. We'll see how funny it is at the end. Yeah. So I guess I got kind of put on the list of people to provoke.
Okay.
Yeah, to ensure. As a matter of fact, she said to me, she said, I'm going to break you. And I thought, wow, she doesn't really know me. Yeah, so that I'm a stronger person. But nonetheless, it was quite interesting.
Right.
At the end, she was quite friendly, as a matter of fact, and told me she didn't think I would have made it through, because a lot of people, once they target you, they kind of get intimidated and give up. But, I think that experience made me more determined, and I knew why I was there. I was there so I could go to school,
Right.
experience the culture, to travel, and I was not going to be deterred by anyone or anything.
Gotcha.
Yeah. One of the mishaps of my experience, and I put that on the form, I don't know if you want me to share that or not.
No, that's fine. It's all relevant.
While I was in basic training, since I went on December the 1st during the Christmas holidays, I felt that I should not bother to go back home, since I had just gotten there a couple of weeks prior.
Right.
During the holidays, which was sort of like my first Christmas holiday away from home.
Right.
And as a result, they had planned a party for us, because the women and the men were separate. They were all the way over on the other side. And we had a celebration, which was quite interesting, and I don't know if it was because of the holiday season or what it was, but one night I went to sleep and this person attacked me, and of course I was furious and woke up like a wild woman, just swinging, because you don't expect anybody to invade your space when you're in basic, in the military, period. I mean, everybody has their own little area, and especially not when you're sleeping.
This is true.
Yeah, and back in the day, that was a time when we didn't have don't ask, don't tell.
Right.
Yeah, that was before that.
Right.
And so this person known as Big Red was yelling and screaming and talking about what she's going to take from me, what she's going to do. And of course, I was very determined that was not going to happen, because I'm not a lesbian, never been interested or curious in exploring or trying to get an idea of what that lifestyle is about.
Right.
And as a result of that, there was this big commotion, everybody yelling and screaming. The platoon sergeant came down trying to find out what happened, and they took her away, and I never saw her again, never found out what happened or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And it was just interesting. I guess coming from Florida, living perhaps one may consider a sheltered lifestyle, with my family being a great part of the church, a fourth generation child of faith from the Church of God. And just my belief, that was just an odd way to be initiated into the Women's Army Corps.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now I understand your surprise.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that was quite a shocking experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe it. Believe me. Okay. So you, in other words, besides that or beyond that, basic training, you really didn't have a problem getting through basic training, the physical or the mental aspects.
No.
Okay. So you didn't go home and leave. So when, I guess maybe possibly shortly thereafter, basic was over and you moved on to your MOS?
Yes, I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, to the teleelectronic school.
Okay.
And from there, I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina as well, where I did additional training.
Was that 2 Fort Jacksons?
No, I'm sorry. Fort Gordon. I went to Fort Gordon, Georgia, and then I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Why did you go to Fort Gordon?
That was part of the training. You go
How long was that?
I think it was like 2 weeks or so.
And then 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
If you made it through that part, then they send you to the next part.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was like the screening process.
Right.
Yeah, to see who's going to make it through or not.
So what did that training consist of?
Learning about the different parts of the teletype, troubleshooting, being sensitive to the information coming across the wire, because in the signal unit, our responsibility was to secure all of the orders for us over in that command. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, I had to have a top secret clearance,
right,
and to talk to my family and friends, and I was sort of surprised, yet not surprised, to find out that they did, in fact, go back and talk to my family.
Right, yeah.
It took a while, for them to do all of that stuff
right,
and get your clearance. Mm-hmm. But I didn't realize it at the time, the magnitude of the job.
Right.
Having very sensitive information come across the wire and being exposed to that. Mm-hmm. And I went home for a couple of weeks before going to Germany. As a matter of fact, my first stop in Germany, they read the orders incorrectly. They were looking for E6. At the time, I think I was E2.
Right. Hip that.
They sent me to this base
Right.
off of the Czech border, and there were tens of thousands of men there, and they're like, oh no, you can't stay here. And I was like, okay, no problem. And so I was asked where would I like to go, and I said anywhere but K-Town, because by that time I was very upset with my high school sweetheart. We were no longer seeing each other, and I was like, okay, my life is moving on. I don't want to see this person. I'm going in the other direction. And she thought that was very funny, because she sent me right to the same place where he was. She sent me right to the same place where he was.
You know, that was a test, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And the ironic part was he was a teletype writer operator, and I was a teletype writer repair person. So of course we saw each other
Every day?
on a regular basis, and of course, you know, going through that process of trying to reconnect, at least on his part, because I was not interested
Right.
at all. And eventually he wore me down, yeah, and we did connect. We got married while we were over there.
Oh, okay.
It was like 2 years later, and a year after that, before coming back. Actually, it wasn't that long before coming back, because when I was leaving, that's when I found I was pregnant with my son.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought a lifetime souvenir from Kaiserslautern, Germany, back here to this country.
Right.
And I think part of that helps me to really relate to the veterans that are coming back now. Because I remember my experience. When I got home, it took me a full 2 years before I felt like I belonged. I didn't feel like I was supposed to be here.
Really?
No. It was such a great disconnect, because it seems as though people couldn't really relate to you. I mean, they're talking about everything that's going on in their life here.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just coming back, you don't really know what's going on in their life here. You're used to your life where you were.
Right.
And so, you know, just taking the time to make that transition with doctors and, you know, the stores, and it's just being connected. It was totally different, because in Europe, you know, with the Autobahn, you go as fast as your car can take you. You
Right.
come here, you can't do that. You're going to get a ticket. You're going to jail. Yeah.
Right.
And then even with family, because, you know, making a transition, you stay with family, you don't have your own place, and you're used to having your own and doing your own thing, and, you know, not being treated like a child with the curfews and the expectations. So it was
It's like you were 21 when you came back. Huh?
yeah,
In 3 years.
somewhere in there.
As far as they were concerned, even though you had went out in the world and grown up a certain extent,
Yeah.
they still felt like you were just a little kid.
But the thing about it, my parents were, especially my mom, was very insightful. For 3 or 4 summers, each summer I went somewhere, because she wanted to make sure that once I was away from them, I would know what I need to do to take care of myself. A lot of times you find that young women, once they leave home, if they've not had that experience, then they get into all kinds of trouble. They're so easily influenced.
Right.
And she wanted to make sure that I had the skills and tools that I needed to be able to survive and take care of myself. And I think that really prepared me, especially being in the military, being around a lot of men who, you know, they got these various lines. And of course, my father, who had been in the Army in the Korean War,
Okay.
he was very upset with me. You know, he had the old mindset that only street people go into the military, women. Yeah. He's like, you're not like that. And so why are you going? And I tried to explain to him, but he wasn't listening to that. And he really didn't get it until after I graduated from basic training. Yeah, that what that really meant for me, my independence. You know, just being able to do some of the things that I wanted to, and to live my life as opposed to living my life the way that he thought it should be.
Right.
But I don't know if you're a father or not. I guess that's one of the things with girls. And
I have a son. I don't have a daughter.
Okay. Yeah, he's very protective, and
I could see me being protective.
Of course.
But also encouraging my as I do with my son, I do the same thing, especially in today's world. I would encourage my daughter to be as independent as possible.
But realize this wasn't today's world. That was, 30 plus years ago.
Right.
Yeah. So it was quite different. And I really appreciate the discipline. I thought that initially the way they try to do this mind thing, this head thing, to help you to conform to the process was hilarious, because being a confident person and having had accomplished a few things in my life at such an early age, I knew the things that they were saying were not true, but it did teach me discipline, and that's one of the things that sticks with me today. That discipline, and I appreciate Uncle Sam for that. Yes.
Okay. So, you got to your job. How was the food in Kaiserslautern?
It was excellent.
How was the food and basic training in tech school?
I didn't like that. But when I got to Fort Jackson, because I used to live on base, then I moved out into the community as well, and got an opportunity to experience some other things.
Where, in Germany or in the States?
Both.
Oh.
Yeah.
How long were you in tech school?
For about 6 months or so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you got your own place off base?
Sort of, kind of, something like that.
Okay. All right. So, and where was that? In Georgia or the Carolinas?
In Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Right. Yeah, food's good in the Carolinas anyway. So. Okay. So, back to Europe. Did you get to travel around Europe?
I did.
And where'd you go?
Got a chance to go to Paris, France. As a matter of fact, that's where I went for my honeymoon, in Paris, France. And I got a chance to go to Switzerland and Austria. I have my grandfather's clock still today that I brought back with me. Got a chance to go to, what was that? I went to a number of different places. The only place that I didn't go that I really wanted to go was to Costa Brava, Spain. And I heard that it was very nice, sort of like at home. My first year there, I caught walking pneumonia because as a native Floridian, not used to the cold. I never saw snow until I went into basic training as well. But that was definitely an experience for me. Being able to do some traveling and enjoy the food, the culture, the clothes, the cars, the music. Yeah, just being on the economy.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good experience for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
We went out to the field a number of times.
Oh yeah. Maneuvers.
Yeah.
And you spent the night out there?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah. In the wintertime?
Yes.
And, even in the summer, it's like
it was
chilly.
cold.
Yeah. But especially in the winter, the majority of the time of the year,
we used to do these fall things, which didn't make sense to me. You learn in the military to hurry up and wait. You get prepared and then you just
sit
wait.
there. Right. Yeah.
And a part of what I did required me. I had my own 2.5-ton truck, and I used to drive a 5-ton truck with a long dusty van because all of our equipment was on wheels.
Right.
It was inside the big dusty unit was inside this long, like we have these 18-wheeler trucks
Right.
today. Yeah, but
40-foot trailer?
It seemed like it was longer than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they can be 45.
It was
That's the longest I know, 45, 48 maybe.
Yeah, it was very long, and you have all the equipment. That's where all of the orders came through, and all of the information that needed to be disseminated in the command over in Europe.
Okay.
And I found that even just being out there in the field, that was not meant for me. My nickname was Sunshine because I came from the Sunshine State, and was always happy and smiling, and just enjoying the experience.
So you didn't see any combat?
No.
You weren't a prisoner of war?
No.
Casualties? Any casualties in your unit?
No, not really that I was aware of.
Okay.
No.
Did you get any medals or citations? None?
None that I remember.
Not even for good conduct?
I don't remember any. Yeah, it's been a long time ago.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay. How'd you stay in touch with your family?
I stayed in touch with my family by mail, by phone. Yeah, by mail and by phone.
Okay.
At one point, my mom was going to come over, but I don't remember what happened. She didn't come. So I didn't get a chance to see my family again until I came back stateside.
Right.
So for over almost 2.5 years, I think it was 2 years and 4 months I was there.
Right.
I did not see my family until after I came back. Okay. And then when I came back, of course, my mom, being the intuitive one as she is, realized that I had brought a lifetime souvenir, because I didn't tell her I was pregnant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lifetime souvenir back with me, and her first grandchild, my first child. It was quite interesting. I got an opportunity to re-enlist.
How many kids do you have?
One.
Okay.
Yeah. Got an opportunity to re-enlist because I wanted to change my MOS and go into the Department of Corrections. As a matter of fact, the orders that came down for Leavenworth to be stationed there. But after I heard about the different horror stories at Ramstein Air Force Base where people were having babies, I decided to come home. And it's a good thing that I did. And many times over the years, I thought about how my life perhaps would have been different had I stayed.
What kind of horror stories?
Oh man, that they were in labor for days and days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not getting the pain medication that they needed, and I was like, oh no.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had gone to Ramstein Air Force Base a number of times, but not for medical care.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Okay. Okay. So for your 3-year tour, would you say you had enough supplies at all of your bases, at your duty stations?
Yes.
You had everything you needed. Did you feel any particular time throughout your military service? Did you experience any stress, pressure?
Oh, of course.
Not a trick question at all. It varies from person to person. Some people just feel like they skated through. Some people say they had, a lot. So it runs the spectrum.
I see.
So what was your pressure and stress?
Well, my stress was to be one of the guys, because in my unit with repair, it's mostly men. I believe, I think I was the only female there that was into teletypewriter repair.
Really?
Yeah. My supervisor was from Guam. He was from another country. And,
Right. Philippines.
I think that the cultural differences sometimes can impact your experiences because men in general are believe in that hierarchical structure.
Okay.
And so when you have a woman that is into a field that is generally predominantly men, then it's the question, okay, can you cut it? Are you able to, hang with us?
Right.
Or are you one of these people that we have to carry along?
Okay.
And so that was part of the pressure of being accepted in a male-dominated field, and just fitting in terms of maintaining your individuality, yet being a part of the group, and trying to maintain your personal boundaries, because there was always this kidding around, and sometimes people slap you across your butt or whatever. Like, I guess that's one of the guy things, but remembering that you're not a guy.
Yeah, it wasn't a football team, so
Yeah,
that wasn't appropriate.
but that was part of that whole process, and that's why I say, is that a trick question that you asked? Was there pressure?
No, I was. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Really was relative to being in a military situation. However, I totally understand the issues revolving around you being a woman, and like you said, like you clearly explained to me, you worked with a lot of men, so there was that pressure also.
Of course.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not really trying to get this to compete, just making me think. I mean, relative to your basic training, that negative experience with female, was there anything that came close to that physically harmful from any males?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, being out in the field and at nighttime, creeping around, doing all kind of stuff, playing pranks, as that's what they call it, all just fussing around.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, you're not expected to report anything, because it seems like that's part of this initiation thing. Okay, you want to be a part of us, this is what we do.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Incredible. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you well, I think you pretty much told me when you were on leave. Did you come home? You came home at all?
I came home one time.
Right. And the other times when you went on leave,
I would travel.
Visit around Europe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what else did you do to entertain yourself besides travel?
I bought furniture, I bought jewelry.
I went shopping.
I bought clothes. Found interest in gardening. Food is my thing. I like to cook.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Okay.
And just trying different spice combinations, seeing what's different over there than what's different here. Yeah. And attempting to learn the language better. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You still speak any German? Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Yes, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. Very little.
So what did you think of what did you think of officers and your fellow soldiers?
I think that the military is a phenomenon in itself, and I believe it has evolved in some ways, and in other ways I think it still remains the same. Just listening to, since I work in the mental health and behavioral services department at the VA Medical Center here, it is some of the stories that you hear from both men and women, you realize that there is still some of that same pressure, behavior, and probably it's just coping skills that people use to make it through whatever they need to do in order to survive. And we see a lot of people now coming back who are dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, military sexual trauma, and just they're so young now. I mean, the youngest patient I've had over the past year was like 19. I mean, that is very young, and people are doing multiple tours, and then the transition. As a matter of fact, I had a person say to me, the military taught me how to kill people, and then now I come back here and you say, no, you can't do that. I want to go into law enforcement. Well, to go into law enforcement, you have to be psychologically sound.
Right.
If you're not psychologically sound, then that would not be something that even though that may be comfortable, but that would not be something that could be done. And it's just been an experience to see the difference between my experience, my transition, when I came back, and the transition of those that are coming back now. It's definitely been a wake-up call. We've gotten better. I think we've gotten better in preparing soldiers, troops who are transitioning out. However, when you look at the statistics, the research shows that the suicide rate is higher now than it was previously. And so I don't know if it's now become that code of honor, or whatever you want to call it, silence, that it's better to take it to my grave than to share it, so that they're able to process through and have a sense of normalcy. Of course, after you've gone through combat 3-4 times, you're never going to be the same. Right. But at least you can get to a place, a level place where you're able to function and do some of the things that you enjoy in life. Right. And hopefully you have a better quality of life as a result of the new mental health initiative. I take my hat off to President Obama. This is the largest budget in the history of the VA since under his leadership, and with a number of the various programs, such as the Caregiver Support Program, with the VRAP, the Veterans Retraining Assistance Program, the hiring a veteran opportunity hero program of 2011. Right. They have a number of different programs and things that are set in place to make that transition much easier, much smoother now. Just recently, one of the veterans was saying, like, when they were discharged, that they went through a TAPS program that prepared them 6 months out with getting job readiness skills, and as a matter of fact, he mentioned that he had found a job, so once he was discharged, he could, just go right to work. Carry on. Yeah. And I was listening a couple of weeks ago to hear President Obama welcome home the Vietnam veterans, and I thought, wow, after all of this time, somebody up in Washington is now, that has a voice that is meaningful, that is significant, to say that to so many of those that have been waiting for such a long time to hear that. Wow. Like I mentioned about my father was in the Korean War. Well, those that are before the Vietnam War, they seem to think that now they have been left out. Many of them are in their 80s. They're dying off. Right. 80s and beyond. And It's different. Each era is different. And I hope that we've learned many valuable lessons
Right.
as we go forward with these that are coming back now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so,
So overall, the military gave me an opportunity to do just what I went in there for,
gotcha.
to go to school.
Okay.
I came out, I went to school, I used up all of my GI benefits for education, every dime. They didn't get nothing back from me. Yes, I did.
Good.
I got 3 degrees
Good
with
thing.
my GI Bill.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did. Yes.
Bachelor's, master's, and your Ph.D.
No.
Oh,
Associates, bachelor's, and my master's degree.
okay.
Yes,
You got your Ph.D. on your own?
I did.
Okay.
That cost me a lot of money, still paying that back now.
Okay. All right. So, I think you just covered about the other 6 questions.
I did.
Yeah, which is fine, which is
Okay.
not a problem at all. Just a few things left for me to address. I think we know what you did for a career after the service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after I got out of the military,
Right.
and very zealous and enthusiastic that I could go to 2 different schools at the same time. I don't know what possessed me to do that.
Really?
Yeah. But I wanted to hurry up and do it.
Right,
You know, just
right.
as I had learned to hurry up.
But you had
And
your ambition and you knew what you wanted to do.
I did. And
Good. Congratulations.
I had to make some adjustments in my goal after I graduated with my first 2 degrees. As a matter of fact, I graduated summa cum laude, at the top of my class.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and that just motivated me to see if I could get into the area where I was trying to focus. I've always considered myself in the helping profession. Perhaps my grandmother instilled that in me. I was raised by my grandmother until I was about 15, and she was always helping people. It was just the 2 of us. And she would always cook these large meals on Sunday, and people would come over and talk and, eat and pray. You know, they come and get some comfort and solace and some alternative for their problems.
Right.
And I think now, as I reflect over what I saw growing up, that had a major influence.
Impact, yeah.
Yes.
On your thinking.
Definitely.
Okay. Let's see. So just, what was it like your last days of service, making that transition? You spoke about that, but what was it like for you? Where were you?
Here. I
You were-
came back here.
You came back, okay, and where were you stationed?
I was stationed in Kaiserslautern.
Oh, yeah, and then,
And
okay,
then
I understand that.
processed out at
And
the,
came home.
Yes. Yeah.
So what was that like? You just kept going to school? Did you have a job already? Or?
No, I was pregnant.
Oh. Okay.
No, I was pregnant. I didn't have a job.
Okay.
And but I did go to school while I was pregnant because I felt that I had gotten to the place. I had paid my dues, so to speak, and now the opportunity had presented itself for me to be able to go to school comfortably.
Right.
And so I decided that why wait?
Right.
I had the time, and so I started taking a few classes while I was pregnant until I had my child, and then after that, I did get a job, a part-time job, and then I started going to school.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving up closer to the moment. What the heck was I? Friends. You made a lot of friends.
I did.
Have you retained any of those friendships to this day?
No.
No?
I have pictures of some of my friends.
Okay, okay.
From Germany. As a matter of fact, I was going through a photo album, and I saw a number of pictures. It brought back a number of memories of good times and meeting people from all over the country. Like, for example, Little Rock, Arkansas. I didn't know they had black people in Little Rock, Arkansas.
I didn't know they had any up in the Dakotas until I met my buddy in basic training from North Dakota.
Yeah.
Right. I understand. Okay.
As a matter of fact, I've been trying to reach out. I did. We serve. We serve. I'm trying to think of the name of the website. Something about serving together. Something to that effect.
Right.
To see if I can connect with some of the people that I served with. I remember that I was stationed at Kleber Kaserne in Germany and at these different bases. But Fort McClellan is closed. They don't have that anymore. You know, and then when you're trying to find out information as to your records, I was told that the place where the records were kept burned down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so that sort of impeded my process to
Reach out.
yeah, and to submit a claim as well, because they told me they can't find my records. So it's like, well, what does that mean? I mean, that doesn't seem like that should be my issue, that you can't find my records.
Right, right. You belong to any veterans organizations?
Veterans, yes. I'm a part of the Women's Veterans of America, Chapter 25.
Oh, okay.
I'm on a number of veteran committees here at the VA, the Women's Health Planning Committee. I'm a member of the Patient Rights and Responsibility Committee. I'm a member of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. I'm a member of the Business Design and Outreach Committee. I'm a member of the VHA addictions. I'm an addictions therapist, yeah, by profession. My Ph.D. is in family therapy with a specialization in family systems healthcare, so this was a good fit for me. And I'm a member of the American Psychological Association as well. There's some other with the homeless. I'm on the Veteran Advisory Board for Palm Beach State College. I'm also a member of the Palm Beach County Veterans Advisory Board. I'm very active in the community.
I see.
I think it's important to make those connections, because a lot of times people don't want to talk to you if they feel like you can't relate to them.
Right.
And some kind of connection, some kind of association. And so I, as the Minority Veterans Program Coordinator here too for the West Palm Beach VA Medical Center, one of my mandates through Congress in 1994, Congress determined that it was very important that all veterans be aware of the services that the VA Medical Center provides. And so a special emphasis was placed upon African Americans, Hispanics, Native Americans, Asian, Pacific Islanders. And as a result of that, we have a 7-county catchment area for the VA Medical Center, for the West Palm Beach VA Medical Center, from Palm Beach up to Henry County. And part of my strategic outreach plan is to connect with the different ethnic groups in the various activities that they have, so that, again, I can present the information. Perhaps they'll consider, if they're not already enrolled in the services here at the VA or with the vet centers. You know, that is the transitioning piece, those that are coming back who have any family or marital problems, they can go to our vet centers. We have a number of them in our catchment area. We also have the CBOC, which is the community-based outpatient clinics too. So we're connected. And
Excellent.
the Centers for Minority Veterans, that's out of Washington, D.C., which is a part of the agency that my collateral duty as the Minority Veterans Program Coordinator comes under.
Last question, because you've given me a lot of great information. You answered all of my questions. Is there anything that you felt like that we haven't covered in the interview?
No, I think that you're doing a great job in terms of being a part of the Veterans History Project. I know that had I not met you out in the community, I probably would not be doing this today.
Okay.
I commend you for your persistence in ensuring that as many people as possible get the opportunity, get the privilege to share their story. And I hope that you would be encouraged to continue your efforts. And I definitely will pass the word on to other people that I know who are not aware of what it is that you're doing,
right,
so that they too, if they so choose, would get an opportunity to share their stories as well. And I see that by putting the pieces together, it's sort of like a big puzzle.
Right, yeah.
Putting the different pieces together that perhaps someone, maybe not now, but in the future, will see the big picture,
right,
of how all of this comes together, that we all contribute to our society, and we want the very best, not only for us as veterans, but for all people. And if we all do our part, I think we can accomplish that. I really do.
Thank you for your extremely positive, upward, mobile attitude. A wonderful attitude. Well, I want to thank you very much for the interview. It was a great interview. And I want to thank you for your service also.
Thank you so much, and thank you too for your service.
My goal for my organization, the goal for next year is a minimum of 200, if not 300 interviews.
Okay.
Okay, so.
In my travels, I will, if you give me some of your cards, I will pass
Absolutely.
them along so people can contact you as well.
That's why I sort of kicked this back to you, because